We got ourselves team one with, we got ourselves Zorpaz as a balanced druid. With on that team, we got ourselves Dragoon as a Destro Warlock. Oh, he got the chin, he got the horns, he got the, oh, the tattoos. Oh, the war paint, I guess. We got ourselves Bougie in here. Looking all bougie with his bougie water pack, I think. Sava in here. Is that Sava? Then we got ourselves LJX. I'm an LJ. We'll call him LJ, dude. For large man X, dude. Large guy X. We got us as Watched Up on team 2 with Titanos as a Pharaoh. We got us as Poxy as a Shadow Priest, replacing the monk that was on the team. Unstoppable on this team, as well as the Archie-Orc as more of that Fire Mage. Hasn't got to play last time. Watched Up is going to be first up. It looks like Watched Up is Destro with a Succubus. Who's going to be first up on team 1? Are they going to send out the Warlock as well? Warlock versus Warlock. Looks like team 1 is trying to figure out who is going to be first up, who's going to be next, who's going to be last. It looks like the mage is going to be first up with LJ. Up first is a fire mage rolling up. Look at this guy. Even his mog with Dragoon, they look both similar. Got the same body paint, same tattoos. Is going to get hit with a Succubus CC. Watched Up is going to break out of it. The polymorph actually did burn a trinket for it. Drop it down to the hammer. With LJ getting interrupted on the Chaos Bolt though. LJ looking to land a Ring of Frost, does not land it to Washed Up. He could still go for a big old Chaos Bolt. Fear onto LJ with the Chaos Bolt cooking up right after. Does even damage to follow. Big Chaos Bolt connects. LJ does go for recovery with those shields. But his health bar did take a beating. Tried to go for Soul Rider on the corner. Cancels it, I think, for a Conflag instead. Stun around the corner with that Cataclysm as the Infernal rolling in. Did not get hit by a root. If Washed Up can somehow find himself a position where he can land a Chaos Bolt, like Juke could kick out of LJ, or maybe hit him with a Succubus CC, fill on Chaos Bolt, that could be huge. But that was a lot of damage out of Washed Up that kind of washed away itself. Washed Up going for a Soulfire. Interesting choice of a talent. Does that do a lot of damage? It did a bit into those shields. It did a bit. I would like to see what that does if it crits without, like, you know, shields or anything. I would like to see that. But he does reset himself up without ability. A fully immolate, so he'll have a dot burning onto LJ. Cataclysm, and LJ can't walk out of it fast enough. So that's going to be that immolate continuing to burn with a Succubus right next to him, still beating up on him, slowing him down too. Let's just going for a bit of a shift in power. Cataclysm around the corner. LJ is going to take a bit of the damage. That Infernal burns quite a bit. That thing is going to put pressure onto LJ, especially if Watched Up is running Conduit. That makes that Infernal do more and more intensity and damage. It looks like LJ is actually under pressure. The shields are up. No dampening just yet, so those shields are soaking all damage. But look at just how fast the shields are getting burned through. If Watched Up can just get one more spell through, you have an instant cast. You just put LJ in an unwillable position. I think the dots come off through. It's going to be cauterized. Icebox right after is popping off every single defensive. The slow burn of a Destro Warlock. The randomness of that Destro damage. It looks like that was just too much. The Inferno really does keep you warm at night though. LJ recovered a full health bar without a single defensive left though. It's going to get interrupted on that soul. On the... Does he get the line of sight here? He doesn't get the line of sight. I think he was trying to see if he can get one up. Try to go for a repoly, maybe G-Pie. Does he go for a G-Pie here? Looks like he's going to try to go for G-Pie. It's going to be very, very short. Poly, Washed Up, taking all that combustion damage to the face, trying to go for a Soulfire, reflective of a Washed Up, but his house is not in a good spot. It looks like the Fire Mage is really just burning fire here. Chaos Bolt onto LJ, but Washed Up is super low in health. No way to recover. Does go for Warlock Hellstone. It looks like so he did have one defensive still available. LJ, at the other side of the pillar, Washed Up, took a bit of a beating. If he can somehow find a way to recover, get that slow burn onto LJ, he might be okay. We are at the 5-minute mark, 2% dampener rolling in. He can always deny LJ the big G-Pie, but he cannot do much against that combustion unless he has a port. Use the wall for that one. It looks like LJ is fishing for fireballs. He's fishing for the combustion. LJ does have combustion, full setup ready, trinket available, and everything. And Washed Up better be playing this defensively, trying to see if he can head over to the other side of the pillar. Drop it down Infernal onto LJ, looking to maybe go for big damies. Does get locked out on fire. Going for a Chaos Bolt. It's going to see so many Pyroblasts back to the face. Does have a Mortal Coil Reflect available. LJ might be able to reflect Pyroblast back to himself. Chaos Bolt setting up, and it's going to be shields. Burn through shields very, very quickly. Washed Up super low, but so is LJ, and LJ is burning down next to that Infernal. If Washed Up can just get more instant casts in there, he'll be good spot. LJ super low in health. Not a lot he can recover with. Needs shields immediately. Washed Up looking to get some instant cast on him. Infernal on one side, Warlock on the other, and that's going to be Seed Pod. There was nowhere to go, and as long as Washed Up is aware of the Seed Pod, one Chaos Bolt, second Chaos Bolt, not letting the mage catch that recovery at all. Destro versus Fire, 7 minutes of just hot fiery action, which sounds terrible. Big stone opener by Keva though. Going in for a massive setup, 100% crit. Not much you can really do unless you have a defensive here or a mortal coil immediately. And it looks like Savo, actually, he did burn advantage. I don't know if he went for advantage trying to get away from Arhiork or he used advantage as part of the burst. But he's got a full thing of spiders there. Just follow the spiders, Harry. Follow the spiders. Arhiork getting hit with a kidney shot, trinkets out of it, actually blinks out of it. Maybe he didn't. No, I think it was a normal blink. It would be ultra time available for him to deal with the damage of Sivo. Breath on top of him with a poly right after, trying to cook up himself another G-Pie. It's another Fire Mage. Sivo does go for a trinket there, so that is a massive defensive getting used. And should be able to get himself a bit of a reset, almost getting hit by the massive damage of, or the small, big radius damage really, of the Arcane Explosion, a tool that mages I think are in love with. The Blizzard gave him that for this expansion. Probably just makes it so much easier to deal with rogues. But you kind of need it now because rogues can just one-shot you in the opener. Cheap Shot is going to have a trinket for it, on blink note for it. Breath of the Sivo with a poly. G-Pie cooking up. As Sivo does have a lot of damage available. It looks like it's going to be full Meteor coming down. Sivo can't really outrun it. Big Meteor coming in as a combustion rolls in. Short kidney shot onto Arhi. Trying to continue the stuns back-to-back. But Sivo just trying to deny the inevitable. And he is going to be going down either way. It looks like... What do we got next? Is it going to be the Warlock? Looks like Dragoon just setting up a set of cookies for the rest of the team. You guys enjoyed this Christmas cookies. I gotta go. I gotta either fight and die in glory or win for glory. I won't be able to give cookies anymore though, boys. See you, kids. Hopefully that'll keep you afloat until I get back. Or if I, die. Either way works. Poly onto Dragoon does have the pet. Looks like the pet does get nowhere behind the pillar. It cannot interrupt the Dragoon. Trinkets it into a reflect onto Arhiork. Is going to be trying to go for some damage of his own. Inferno coming down. Chaos Bolt rolling in. Arhi, does he have an interrupt? He does not have it yet. Now he does, but looks like damage is already set in. Trying to use the mobility to get away from Dragoon. Shadow Fury from a distance. Another Chaos Bolt cooking up. Trinkets it. A Chaos Bolt I think is mid-air though. Was it? Maybe not. I think he might have gotten out range of that Chaos Bolt. That's going to be Cataclysm around the other corner. I think it did clip Arhiork. I could be wrong though. But it looks like he does have a fresh Immolate on him. It looks like Arhi is just poking now around the corner. Get hit with a Fear Casbo for free. Second Casbo loaded up already mid-air. Not much you can really do to stop it. Oh, the Ultra Time comes in. Does have the Ice Block. Better cancel the Ultra Time. Because you're going to come back with lower health. Yep. He canceled the Ultra Time because he knew that if he were to Ultra Time, Ice Block, gain health, Ultra Time back, he would be back with low health. And it would be bad for him. Missing that Breath of the Dragoon though, so that's not a good position for him to be in. Does get the interrupt on the fire into Dragoon. Chaos Bolts are still getting slung. Now that's going to be Massive Cataclysm. So I guess he interrupted his fear then for Shadowlock. Dragoon pushing in as a Night Fade Dragon form Soul Shade. And Arhi is going to hit him with a breath. Does he land the Polymorph? I think the pet is around. Yeah, the pet is going to be putting pressure onto Arhiork. Not going to let him get that G-Pie. Unless the pet actually used that intro before, so Dragoon has no answer. Does it reflect for the one Pyro that procs out the cauterize from Arhiork? Mortal Core right after. Chaosball cooking up. Arhiork is going to be going down here for sure into a big old Seed Pod. Dragoon, as long as he can eliminate the Seed Pod, he'll be okay. Trying to go for Incinerates. Hopefully those will be enough. No, Arhiork gets a second chance. Huh? Wait, what? He came back and then he died. He didn't get hit by Dragoon. Dragoon kept hitting the pod. Weird. I think it's because Dragoon's spells have like a travel time. The game had to technically calculate, well, the spell was used before the pod released Arhiork out of the seed. So technically the spell was already mid-air. And it already calculated that it killed the Seed Pod. It just had to catch up with the animation. I guess. I have no idea. I feel like that mage should have been okay, but it looked like he wasn't. Dragoon pushing it into Proxy. Getting aggressive as he doesn't have a lot of health. We are at 12 minutes, almost 12 minutes into this duel. Chaos Bolts are just blasted through Proxy. Dude, this guy got the fastest Chaos Bolts in the West. Getting a lockout into Proxy on Shadow, too. Dragoon knows he doesn't have a lot of health, so you just went aggressive. Very, very aggressive there. Dropping down Infernal could be huge damage. Does a reflect available on the fear onto Poxy? Does go for a trinket to get out of that fear. Pushing in onto the Shadow Priest. Trinkets out of that silence into Mortal Coil into Poxy. Poxy is going to take lots of damage for the double Chaos Bolt. Just eliminated. Gonna be a port for Dragoon, but didn't really go what he wanted, as Titanic is gonna be there. It's gonna go for an Immolate. Does he have an interrupt for that? Looks he does interrupt the Convoke. Gonna be a restun by Titanos while he is in Incarnation. Fear on Titanos with the Chaos Bolt 1. Oh my god, that Casbolt did a lot of damage. Shadow Fury onto Titania. Second Casbolt already. What are these Casbolts? Oh my god. Hopefully more Warlocks will go back to Destro. Looks like Dragoon tried to go for a port. Looks like he didn't really take him exactly the way he wanted. He's just taking ports. He doesn't know where they go. He's okay with the chaos. This man embraces the chaotic nature of a destruction Warlock. This port, oh, it took me next to the enemy. I'm okay with that. Let's take this gateway. Oh, it took me right next to a Stoppable, so I don't actually have line of sight. I'm alright with that. I'm just gonna send in 2 Casbolts and he'll melt. Oh my god. Gonna be Topaz up next as a Boomy versus Unstoppable gets him in a route into a silence, trying to go for a bit of damage. And it looks like he's actually getting quite a bit of a damage breakaway into Unstoppable, trying to go for a bit of a retreat. Barkskin for this Lassa as the Earth Elemental is available. Double stun, that's gonna be Unstoppable with a defensive. As Zorpaz taking lots of damage. Oh my god, the meatballs, mamma mia! With Stormkeeper available, not much you can really do in that situation. The meatballs just blasting him, blasting him, blasting him, blasting. I don't know what to do there. Bougie's going to be up next, trying to see if he can make Shadow Priest work versus Unstoppable. The Grounding Totem or the Earthbind Totem is going to be slowing him down, though. And Unstoppable got himself still the Earth Elemental for a little bit longer, a hair longer. Might be able to get one more stun out of the Earth Ellie at most. Drop down a heal totem with a lasso onto Bougie. Does trick it out of it. Mind games onto Unstoppable. Chooses to go for a trick. It did not get the interrupt on the Earth Shock. Actually, no. Maybe he did stop the... Maybe he grounded. He might have actually grounded the Mind Games. Silence on Unstoppable. Does get a short stun to Bougie. Bougie does have himself PI as well as Vampiric Embrace, so that's a lot of self-healing. Hex trying to come out onto Bougie. It looks like he's just going to have to get a Hex. Unstoppable looking for them heals, but it's 64% dampening. It is heavily reduced. He is playing most likely the Earth Shield Restoration Legendary, which is going to give him lots of self-healing. Every time the shield procs. Got himself a nice bit of Fleshcraft working too. I don't wonder if he's playing for the Fleshcraft that gives him like the immunity to CC Fleshcraft. Also, big Fleshcraft buffs for 9.0.2. I'm very, very excited about that. I think more people will start using Fleshcraft as a defensive. Like when you get kicked from a spell, you'll start channeling. Because it'll give you 30% damage reduction. That'll be really good. I think that'll be really, really good. And if you get CC immunity, that's really good. Stun onto Unstoppable, trying to go for the Mind Games. Unstoppable doesn't let him do it. Lasso onto Bougie, who is going to go for a Disperse, reducing the damage it takes, getting some healing out of it. Normally, Disperse is great for heals, but not at 68% dampener, boys. Not happening. This high dampening. Big lava burst coming down for Unstoppable. Stormkeeper available, and Bougie just has nothing left at the end. Man, Unstoppable just knows how to finish the job there. But Torga, dude, my man, there's so many Destro Casballs, dude. They're so hard hitting too. Wait, did he only have 2 kills? No, he had 3. Because one of them was a pod, and the pod doesn't count for some reason. Actually, it makes sense because the pod technically is the one that gives the kill on a person.